naman ng mag-aasa akin na merong brown out. Kasi may nag-capture sa akin. May brown out daw sa kanila kaya hindi niya makita daw yung pinupload. Hindi naman yun yung nakakatayo pero problema daw.
May malaking grupo.
So there will be an online exam. Sige, gawin kong 9 to 10, 9 to 12. Ano ba yan? Beyond that, extension. Okay? Online exam next week. Coverage, week 1 to 3. Ano ba yan? Week 1 to 3. So I'm going to finish today, week 3. So, alam ko natapos ko yung week 4. Nakita ko yung upload ko kanina. Yung week 4 pala, parehas na. Okay, can you see there? Just na lang dito. Now we'll go to legal and ethical issues of Philippine education. When we speak of legal, more or less, we are referring to the law, positive law. We refer to the positive law. Example of that is the Enhanced Education Act of 2008. Yun yung famous na K to 12. Right? Okay. So when we speak of ethical issues, it has something to do with the conflicting interest between the learners and the teacher, and so on and so forth. So we're going to discuss all of this. And we have several ethical issues. The first one, we have quality and access disparities. Nababasa mo? Nababasa niyo yan? Okay. Quality and access disparities. One of the significant challenges is the unequal distribution of educational resources. Ibig sabihin, hindi lahat nakaka-avail. May mga tao na nakaka-avail ng exclusive school. May mga tao na hindi nakaka-avail. May mga tao na pwede mag-aral sa private school. May mga tao na hindi. There are schools who cater to the privileged poor just to improve their life through education. Example of that, alam na yan, that is our by name or tagline. Upang is actually catering for education for the poor through education. Okay? Making lives of others better through education. So, that is one way of resolving that problem. How many of you graduated from private school in college? How many of you graduated from private school or public school? College, ha? Okay. So, kung nakikita nyo yun, yung iba, can-afford, they go to private school, di ba? Yung iba, hindi. Kaya, they wait for scholarship grants from the government. So, that is the big problem. Unequal access to quality education. Mas mataas kasi yung tuition fee kapag private school. Pag public school, mababa ang tuition fee. Minsan ito. Because of the TES or the unified grant by the government. So one solution made by the government is through legislations. And we have now the UNIPAS law. And you know what's the UNIPAS? That is actually the tertiary extended scholarship program for private school. Pero sa public school, meron na nilang tinatawag na scholarship granted by the government. Lalo na kung mga states and universities. LUCs, local universities. Paliwanag po yan. Before, the state universities are not in competition with private school. state universities are created to complement the private school. Ibig sabihin, if the courses in the private schools are not enough and they do not offer what we call as 100% courses, those courses missing in the private schools will now be offered by the state universities. But right now, it will be different stories. The state U and the local LUCs are now in competition with the private school. They are also offering nursing, they are also offering education, and so on and so forth. Which is very much a problematic area with regards to the competition. Yung SUCs, gumagamit siya ng government fund. Yung private schools are not. Diba? They are actually usually enrollment based. Kung marami yung enrollment, then malaki yung sources na buga. Pero sa private school, hindi. Again, nagkakaroon na naman ng problematic areas with regards to quality education, with regards to teaching strategies. So one of the problems that are being, or that is not actually being resolved as of today. Okay? So marami pa rin ang hindi nakaka-avail ng education. So another problem, we have the understanding of resource limitation. So we need to, if you belong to a family, enough only to earn for living, for sustenance, without any extra income for further education, that's a big problem. Okay? So, ito ko, understanding and resource limitation. So, limited ang resources. Magkano na ba ang tuition fee ngayon ng college? Public or private? Magkano? Sa inyo, limited yung tuition fee nyo, 11 to 15. Nagre-range niya. Diba? Pag kayo po ang nagpaaral na ng kolehiyo, magkano na kaya? Magkano na kaya? Pag may pamilya na kayo, nagpaaral na kayo ng kolehiyo, magkano na kaya? Especially the one that studying in the Ivy League school. Hindi na tayo lalabas, punta tayo sa Cordilleras. Almost all the schools in Cordilleras are considered to be as an Ivy League school. But SMU, UC, UP, diba? DCU. So those are actually schools that entails high educational one. Tama po ba? Tama. Or huwag tayo alis sa UPA. Mataas ba ang tuition fee? Hindi po. We are actually offering the very low tuition fee. Kaya ako minsan tinatawag ko SMU din ng UPA. Kasi ang ibig sabihin ng SMU ay sa loob ng UPA. Diba? So if you are graduate here, then very good. Okay? So that's the big problem. There is a shortage of what we call as financial resources. Kulang. Scholar ka nga, pero hindi lang naman yun ang kailangan mo. Ano kailangan mo? Pamasahin, pang-anin, tirahan, and the rest of the miscellaneous. Okay? So that is the problem. Another problem that we encounter today is shortage of teachers. Teacher shortage and one teachers. Okay, quality. Marami pong guro. Pero ang tanong, are they effective or efficient? Are they efficient? Are they qualified? And so on. There are a lot of schools who are hiring non-board passers. Ang tawag ko po dito ay para-teachers. Para-teachers po ang tawag ko sa kanila. Because they are being hired to teach even if they are not board passers. And that's for private schools. Paliwanag ko. So, it only shows na kulang yung ating mga board passers. But that is allowed. Kaya lang, as much as possible, kailangan maging board passer. Okay? Clear? That is your license to teach. Okay? Tinanong ko kanina kung sino yung hindi pa nakapag-examiner ko sa kanina. No? Anyway, I remind you na kailangan mag-exam po kayo. Wala na po yung tinatawag na magna-carta. Ano yung magna-carta? ka pumasa, by virtue of your experience, magiging licensed teacher ka. Okay? So, wala na po yun. Ako po, nagtuturo ako sa private, licensed teacher din po ako. Okay? Marami po akong lisensya dala, marriage license, driver's license, LPT, at marami po po iba. So, kailangan meron po kayo yan. So that they will no longer be calling you para-teachers. If you are a non-licensed teacher, ang tawag sa iyo is para-teachers. Okay? Para bang kung ikaw ay nagbibigay ng advice, legally, and you are not a lawyer, ang tawag sa iyo ay para-legal. Okay? Maliwanag po. And if you are a non-licensed teacher, you cannot dictate your price. Hindi ka pwede makipag-bargain ng presyo mo. Hindi ka tulad ng mga nagtatulong sa gobyerno, no? Na magtaas na yung kanilang salary. Okay, reality po. Meron nga ako nakita kanina lang, yung isang estudyante ko, sabi nga, age of 47, earning 63,000 per month. Wow, nakipera na, no? Sabi ko sa kanya, pahiram. Kaya kasi doktor na siya, promoted, hindi ko alam kung anong salary grade yan. I'm not good with the salary grade. Anong salary grade ba yun? Hindi ko alam yan. Kung anong salary grade. Okay? So, shortage of quality teachers. And how are you going to upskill your standard? So, kailangan mag-graduate ko ka ng CPT units. Sino ba sa inyo dito ang nag-graduate ko ng CPT standard? For CPT units, for renewal of their license. Wala? Wala ba? Oh, dagdag pera yun. Kasi may bayad eh. Hindi ko alam paano nakuha nila ba't may CPT units pa. For the renewal. Okay. So next problem that we have is standardized testing and pressure. Alam niyo ba yung pinaka-recent result ng ating exam? Pangilan ba ang learners natin? Ang baba, di ba? Kulang, no? Bakit? Kasi iba-iba yung standard ng bawat student. Lalo na sa private school. Sa UPAM, bago namin pinapapasok yung aming senior high, nagkakatak po kami ng standardized exam. And to tell you, ang resulta po ay ang kanilang level of comprehension is level 34. And we're proud, no? We're proud. From level 4, we end up having students top-notchers 100%. Kaya kakaiba po kami, no? Hindi po kami nagkakatak ng selective. Lahat tinatanggap, it is an open enrollment. Kaya lang meron kaming retention policy pagdating ng 3rd year sa 4th year. Ano yung retention? After conducting a standardized exam, hindi mo na ipasayan, we will require you to have an extra semester for the review. Kaya ka dito. Or, kung ayaw mo, we will require you to transfer. Kaya napakailan na mag-transfer pagdating ng 4th year, di ba? Tama na. So, ang ginagawa, after that, mag-exam ka ulit. Pag pumasa ka na, then we will allow you to take the board exam. At marami nagsasabi dito na yung comprehensive exam namin ay mas mahirap pa kaysa sa board exam. Kaya automatic, 100% yung passing percentage. Okay? Ako nga, hindi ako nagreklamo sa anak ko. Kasi yung first take ng anak ko sa comprehensive, 74 point something. Kung hindi na lang, hindi na pinasahin. Hindi ako makapagreklamo kasi panis yung school. Okay, anak, gusto ko yung transfer. Ayaw ko pa, yung pa pa rin. So, she took the exam, passed. She took the board exam, she passed. So, habang hinihintay yung graduation ceremony, nag-graduation ceremony lahat na nag-graduate ay board passer. Okay, that's nursing. So, yun po yun. Even in education, no? And even in criminology. So, yun po yung standardized exam. And we are very proud. Proud po kami We do not compare ourselves to UP and so on and so forth. Kasi yun ay may entrance exam sila pagpasok. Tama ba? Kami open. Tinatanggap lahat. And we try to develop them to become a good and a quality students and professionals. So that is the problem. Standardized testing and pressure. We are being pressured because we belong to the lowest of the level of the graduates. Natulingan tayo ng mataas yung literacy rate natin, pero yung ating mga graduates na makababa yung kanilang resulta. Isa, di ba? Baba? So anong problematic doon? Math and English. And of course, critical thinking. Those involves critical thinking. Nag-champion tayo sa music. Magagaling tayo sa kantahan. Pero doon naman sa mga area niyan, mahina tayo. Ano nga ba problema? Okay? So next, we have language of instruction. Ito po yung hindi ko maintindihan. Although we belong to a community or culture having a diverse dialect, 98 dialect, iba-iba. Paiba-iba naman yung ating medium of instruction. Nagsimula tayo sa mother tongue, base language. Kung nasa region naman ka, dapat yun yung base mo pang grade 1 to grade 3, diba? Ang problema, kapag yung na-hire na teacher ay galing sa ibang lugar, yung teacher mag-adjust. Tama po, no? My wife from Cordillera, wala nagturo siya sa elementary, grade 1 to 3. Mag-adjust siya, natuto siya magpagkasilan. Then, actually, hindi naman BS siya, kundi BS secondary. Major in MAPE and kaya napunta siya doon, then nag-adjust. Then, kung na lang, wala na yung mother tongue base na education. Wala na ba? Tinanggal na naman ang curriculum. Okay? So, yun yung walang problema natin. Ano nga ba? Yung language of instruction natin. Ano nga ba yung modality and what is our modality of instruction? Is it English or Filipino? Well, in college, we do not have to be very particular with what modality of teaching or with what methods of instruction are we going to use. But of course, if it is English, then you have to speak in English. But if it is a social science, then you have to speak in Tagalog, and English. So I am a social science teacher, a philosophy teacher. So I seldom use pure English, but I use mixture of Filipino and English. Okay? So yun po yan. So that is problematic area. Another one, we have inclusive education. You know that one already. During our first meeting, sinabi ko na kung ano ang inclusive education. Tama? Yes, sinabi ko na yan. Halimbawa, kung merong special child, huwag niyo siyang iniwalay. Do not give them special treatment. You let them join and be treated as a normal as it is. Paliwanag ko, kung may problematic in terms of gender orientation, okay, you treat them equally with the other one. Inclusive here. Regardless of sex, orientations, development, and status. Pantay-pantay. Sir, paano ba maging pantay-pantay? Alam ko, may mga favoritism po kayo. Diba? Ako, ang technique ko yan, hindi ko memorize yung mga pangalan ng mga estudyante ko. Pag nag-check ako, wala akong favoritism. Okay? Kung ano yung resulta, yun yung record. So that's it. Kung minsan kinakabayaran ko yung pangalan, pag memorize ko na. Tulad yung tatay, hanggang sulat niya, memorize ko yan. Alam kung paano sulat, alam kung paano matake. So, minsan hindi siya nilibigyan ng special treatment. Pinagsak ko pa nga yan. Only to find out na siya pala yun. So, nag-remind ko siya, limitation sa akin. Okay? So, no special treatment on my part. I have been with the teaching profession for almost 30 years. Okay? So, bata pa kayo, natuturo na. Kaya, ganyan po katagal. Okay? So, inclusive education. Dati kasi meron yung tinatawag na homogeneous. Yung mga matatalino nasa section A, yeah? Yung mga slow learners sa last section. Tama na? Pero ngayon pinagbawal yata, pinag-mix na lang. So, anong gagawin mo? How will you adjust? Differentiate the structure. Diba? Ano yun? Yung magaling, inassign mo siya para maging peer tutor na may niya. So, give responsibility. So, that's actually the methodology. Kasi napakapangit tignan na, ay, pati lang pala ako sa last section. Yan, bobo ko pala. So, ang pangit pakinggan nga. Okay. So, next, we have now private and public education. Maraming problema to, ano? Nagkakaroon ng point of comparison. Even in college, ay, graduate pala ako ng private school. Kasi ganito dapat yung expect namin. Ay, graduate ako ng public school. Ganito dapat yung expectation namin. So there is now a problem as regards to the perception of the teachers. And kung titignan natin, there is a prevalence gap between the result of whatever exams we conducted. And we usually expect graduates from private school earning higher score than those graduates from public school. Yun ang expectation. But not always. Hindi lahat, no? Marami pang graduate ng private school, public schools na magagaling. Okay? Magagaling. And I do salute those people who graduated from public school. Bakit? Then kasi yung tinatawag natin survival of the biggest. Yun yung once in a blue moon pumasok yung teacher, pero pumapasa ka pa rin sa exam. Tama ba ito? Kasi nga sinusundan sila ng gobyerno eh. Once in a blue moon. Pero sa private, no work, no pay. O, di ba? Okay. Bakit ko alam yan? Observan ko yan. Kaya sinabi ko, I belong to a family of teachers. Alam ko yan. And hindi ko po ginagawa yan. Hindi ko ginagawa po yan. No? Pag sinabi ko ganito oras, ganito oras. Okay? And I don't want to shortchange my student. Hindi sakit man ako o hindi, mahawa man kayo o hindi, nandito pa rin ako. Okay? Actually, kainin na ako eh. Anyway, next, we have another problem. Quality assurance and accreditation. Di ba yung mga schools to which you belong, meron tayo ng tinatawag na ISO? Tama ba ako? ISO? Yan, no? ISO. Yan. Yun yung maraming problema namin dito, no? You don't have separate project for accreditation. You don't have separate budget for internationalization. I am the internationalization officer, but I don't have separate budget for that. That's the big problem. We belong to a big company. Ang company kasi nakapokus na sa exam or sa mga extracurricular nila. Pero pag check, sponsor, hindi naman ang problema. But we're trying to accredit or to apply for accreditation for level 3 in all our feeder. 100 years na po kami, pero sad to say, nasa level 3 pa lang ng feeder or undergrad courses namin. Hindi ko alam kung bakit gano'n, no? So, hindi ko alam. But I'm planning, and actually we're planning to apply for accreditation comes October. So, pag na-approve yan, then autonomous na po lahat. And I can now open any courses in Tigras. Okay? At katulad ng iba school, ipopost din namin yung mga pa namin doon. The only autonomous school in the Magalang, no? Hindi ko matigal. Okay? So that is the quality assurance and accreditation. Gaya na sinabi namin, o natin kanina, kapag hindi tayo sumunod sa trend na to, mawawala po tayo. Okay? So next we have, wow, number 1, no? Ito yung mga problematic area. Plagiarism and academic integrity. Doon sa review ko po ang sinabit nila sa akin na research. Because I am the director and the chair of the research review committee or ethics review committee. The percentage po sa youth bank, na pwede niyong i-plagiarize or i-attach. 25%. Beyond that, hindi ko butak ang iba. Okay? Ang check kasi is only 30, pero sa amin 25%. So, lalo-lalo na with the rampant introduction of our AI, diba? Artificial Intelligence, pwede ka na gumawa ng research mo doon, diba? Mabilis. Pwede mo lang pasagutin, nagsagot mo doon. Mabilis. Kaya nga sabi ko, huwag niyo akong lulukoy sa mga exam dahil alam na alam ko yun, no? Nagsaseminar po ako sa UP with .ai. Actually, we are crafting guidelines for research with the use of the AI. We do not prohibit, hindi ko po dinidisalaw yan. Pero, kailangan pumasok yan sa maximum na 25%. Pag sumobra po yan ng 25%, di ba, balik po yun. Sabi nyo, gawin mo ulit. Okay? So, yun po yung problematic yan. Hindi mo natin pwedeng iwanan yan. At hindi rin pwedeng sabihin yung sinasabi po ng bagong Secretary ng Education to prohibit the students from using cell phone inside the classroom. Tama, di ba? Pwede mo i-prohibit yan during examination, tayo muna. Pero during discussion, pwede silang mag-research kung ano yung discuss mo, yung is valid or not. Because once you prohibit them, you are isolating the students from the university. Pagkagising nyo sa umaga, ang unang ginawa niya. Ano ang una? Tell me, nakamumog na ba kayo? Nakilamos na ba kayo? Anong unang ginawa nyo? Your cellphone. Sinong katakatabi nyo? Your cellphone. Pagkain, sino katabi nyo? Cellphone. Nakakatawa ko yan, nakakain ka naman, cellphone pa rin. So, that only shows na iba na ang control natin. Okay? Sabi ko nga, ita Maslow's biological needs. Diba? Meron tayo Maslow biological needs. Ano yung pinakapataas? Physical, biological needs. Tapos pangalawa, then itagdag niyo po doon yung internet. Kasi hindi na nabubuhay ang tao pag wala internet. Analay yung internet, yung your cellphone. Yung mga engineering ang tinatanong sa akin, sir, internet ba sa mga? Bakit? Makikinig pa kayo sa lecture, mag-research lang na tayo. If you want internet, magpanood po yung sa cellphone niyo. Yan yung maraming problema. So, nakita natin yung hierarchy of needs, di ba? Itagdan niyo po sa hierarchy of needs ang internet. Wala na pong nabubuhay pag walang internet. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
Yes, dati kasi namin, sa amin noon, naghahanap pa kami kung saan yung connection. Umakit pa kami sa kubo. Pero ngayon, hindi na. Hindi mo na pwedeng taguan. Madali ko pang taguan si Mrs. lang, binabaliktad ko lang yung sumpa. Pero ngayon, hindi na. Hindi ko na makontak. Hindi ko naman sabihin walang internet, di ba? Hindi ko rin pwedeng sabihin drain yung phone. Kasi may dala-dala ako lang yung battery pack, di ba? Charger. Noon, pwede, pero ngayon hindi na. So, mahirap mag-charger. No, so, the only remedy is iwanan mo sa phone. I have to be. Magagalit. Okay. So next we have gender. I have been discussing this one since first meeting. Gender and socioeconomic biases. Okay? Stereotyping. No? Bawal po ang stereotyping. So kailangan ng gender sensitivity. Then, ito po ang malaking problema, lalo-lalo na sa mga edad na tulad ko. Digital divide. From digital immigrant, kailangan mag-digital native. You know, during the pandemic time, lahat ng may edad na pinag-seminar. Kasama po ako doon. Okay? Yung conducted seminar for us who are considered to be as digital immigrant. So, kung ano yung platform ginamit namin, nandito sa strength na master na po namin yan. Okay? Kaya na-upgrade yung sarili namin. Pero sa inyo, hindi na kailangan, you are digital native. Okay po? Nagsabi pa nga ako, hindi ko naman intindihan. Alam niyo ba, may pre-register pa ba kayo? Meron ba? Ako meron pa, pero hindi ko na ma-access. May YM. Sinabi ko ng last meeting yan. Yung Yahoo Mail. Di ba? Ano na ginagamit nyo? Twitter. Facebook. Ano ba? Okay, dami na, ano? Instagram. May Telegram. May Viber. Dami na pong ginagamit nyo. Sa sobrang ng kung ano nang ginagamit namin pag tinext ka, kailangan sumagot ka. Kasi kung hindi ka matawagan, mag-check up sila sa Viber, sa Telegram, malalaman ko na saan dyan. Okay? Hindi mo pwedeng sabihin na, sorry, hindi ko nabasa. That is not allowed in your bank, especially if you are a member of the academic council. Okay? So that is the big problem. And now we resolve that one. Addressing these legal and ethical issues requires comprehensive approach involving policymakers, educators, parents, and other stakeholders. During the pandemic time, lahat ng mga estudyante po namin were provided with free internet and SIPA. Kasi yun yung connection namin. Pero ito sa reason nilang nawala na. Wala na po. Libre kasi yan, pinaprovide ng school. Pero ngayon wala. So sayang, no? Sana may libre sana tayong load niya. Okay. Sa teachers training, yan po sa amin. Curriculum development and inclusive education policies. Ito po yung lagi kong nire-raise dito. Kung bakit they are now imposing full face-to-face among the tertiary level and the grad school. Para bang nag-backward ulit kung babalik tayo. They introduce us the modalities, the different types of modalities, synchronous and asynchronous, di ba? Online teaching and so on and so forth. And yet they want us to come back and to go back to full face-to-face. So that's the dilemma. Okay? Sabi ng Ken, hindi pa kasi kayo autonomous. Kaya hindi pa kayo pwedeng mag-take. You still have to follow. Sabi nga nila, moral acceptance. That is the law, and it is the law. Okay? The law is hard, but it is always the law. So, equitable, effective education system in the Philippines. Do you think effective po ba yung education system natin? So, that's the big problem. Okay? So, let's move further. Philosophical heritage as a effect. Paano nga ba? Pakibasa nga, iyo.
Philosophical heritage as a teacher. As a teacher, philosophical heritage encompasses the various philosophical ideas and principles that have influenced your approach to education and teaching. These ideas shape your beliefs, values, and teaching methods, and they play a significant role in how you interact with students and facilitate their learning. Here are some common philosophical heritage perspectives that teachers may draw from.
Okay. Say mo natin. Progressivism. So, progressivism. I have discussed this one last time, pero kumbaga is uulitin muna natin. When we speak of progressivism, it means that we believe that education should focus yan on the learners or needs of the learners, individual students. So ano nga ba yung kailangan ng learners? Kailangan ba niya yan? For example, I will actually be teaching you Spanish. Kailangan niyo ba ba? Hindi, no? When I was in SLU, we are forced to learn Spanish 1 to 4. Okay? Kailangan ko ba yan? Well, it was then that I realized dahil Ilocano po ako, marami sa mga Ilocanos ay nagmula sa Spanish. For example, bura. Bura means to erase. Tuma. Tuma means to take. Diba? Toma. Alam nyo yun, diba? Okay. So, marami po. So, yun pala. Okay? But right now, ano nga ba yung needs ng mga learners nila? So, the studies, the strategies, must focus on the needs of the learners. Maliwanag po, kaya nga progressivism. So, ano yung mga needs? Experiential learning. Kailangan expose mo sila sa real world. Critical thinking. Kailangan expose mo sila. Turuan mo sila mag-isip. That may involve active learning. Ano yung ginawa niyo kanina? Di ba pinapagawa niyo yan sa mga estudyante niyo? Active learning po yan. Collaborative learning. Diba? Okay, yung output niyo, doon na magbabasa. So, progressivism. Next, we have essentialism. Essentialism, the main purpose is to transmit knowledge and skills to the students. Ano nga ba ang essential thing to consider when we speak of learners? The learners, from the word itself, they're there to learn. Ikaw, teacher, ano yung essential mo? To teach. So you are going to transfer your knowledge and skills to the students. That's the concept of essentialism. Any question with that? Any question? Kumbaga sa pakbat, ano yung essential ng pakbat? Ano yung kaya ito pusik, ha? Pag-representation ng pusik. Ano yung pakbat? Ano yung laman dapat na? Gulay. Diba? Pag mas marami yung karne sa gulay, hindi yung pakbat. Tama ba? Nakatingin na ba kayo? Yung pinakbat sa Pangasinan, ayaw na ayaw ko, mas marami kasi yung talong. At kung isa, ninanoan pa ng alamang. Sabi ko, saan nakakita ng pinakbat na ganyan? Sa amin po, ang pinakbat namin hindi ganon. Hindi rin kalabasa, kundi kamote. Yun ang ginagamit po namin. Okay. So, yun ang essential. Pero kung 1 kilo karne at 1/4 na gulay, hindi na yung pinakbat. That's no longer the essential of pinakbat. Okay? The essence, essentialism. Next, we have constructivism. When we speak of constructivism, magbigay ka ng idea, kumbaga concept mapping. This is the idea. Then let, out of that concepts, let them make a conclusion. Okay? Ano nga ba conclusion makukuha? Yung example mo last week. Diba? Hindi na maliwanag yung conclusion na yun. Diba? Okay. So may mga example tayo. Pag sinanay mo, bumili ng dugo, bumili ng sabi natin kamoting kahoy, bumili siya ng pagmong karne, ano yung lulutuin niya? Dinuguan. So bakit may kamoting kahoy? Kasi ganun yung ginagawa ng nanay ko eh. Extender daw yung kamoting kahoy. Alam ko, kung mayayaman po kayo, kaya walang extender, puro karne yung naman. Di ba? Sa amin po, kasi extended yung family namin, hindi lang po kami. Buong klase pinapakain ng nanay ko, kaya ang dami po namin. We are in the house, there are 15 children, mga pizza po yun. Kumakain lahat. Kaya sabi ko, it is in our house where you can experience the biggest egg. Nakakita na ba kayo na itlog na manok? Sa amin napakadami ko yung itlog ng manok. Kahit kung isang itlog ng manok, 4 po kami maghahati. Mahahati niya. Napakalaki yung itlog ng manok namin. Sa inyo siguro isang tray lang isang tao, no? Tama ba? So, we call that one as an example of constructivism. With that example, ano yung status ng buhay namin nun? Di ba? Constructivism. So, from the given idea, you can make a conclusion. Clear po ba? Clear po ba? Okay. So, next we have perennialism. So, when we speak of perennialism, the student or the teacher will actually tell us the truth that stood time. Ibig sabihin, lahat ng mga bagay na hindi nagbabago. Like example, the golden rule. That's the truth. We call it the universal rule. Ano nga ba yung golden rule? It is the rule of reciprocity. Diba? Do good, you receive good. Do bad, you receive bad. Diba? Do unto others what you want others to do unto you. We call it the rule of reciprocity. Tama, no? Tama. It is only in boxing where rule of reciprocity is not applicable. It is only in boxing where giving is better than receiving. Tama na? Kasi Kasi pag vaccine, receipt ng receipt, patay ka na. But, in any relationship, when you give, you expect something in return. Tama pa. Bibigyan ko yung regalo ngayon, bibigyan ko yung activities, siyempre, regaluhan ko rin ako. Okay. Kuha niyo po. Kuha lahat. Kuha, sir. Siyempre, kung binigyan ka ng misis, bigyan mo rin siya. Di ba? Pag sinampal ka, huwag siya sangkalin. So next, we have existentialism. Well, when we speak of existentialism, teachers prioritize what we call as personal innovation. Yung freedom mo, your liberty, your personal satisfaction should actually be prioritized. Naniniwala ba kayo sa kasabihan, bayan muna bago sarili? Naniniwala ba kayo? Yes or no? Ako hindi ako naniniwala eh. Dapat sarili muna bago bayan. Malakas ka muna, pag malakas ka na sa tulong sa bayan. That's not being individualistic. No, that's actually the reality. Paano ka makakatulong kung pilay ka? Di ba? So pag ganahin mo muna sa sarili mo, kung magaling ka na, that's the time. Okay? So reality po ang pinag-usapan natin sa existentialism. Ano nga po yung reality? Ano nga po yung personal na nangyari? We have to explore our own personal values. So focus your students on that through experiential learning. Okay? Clear? Sir, paano yun? Dati pinagbawal ang field trip. Tama ba? O? Kasi marami nang disgrasya, no? Pero ngayon, okay na naman ang field trip. Kaya lang kasi kung minsan yung field trip, pinagkakuha tayo ng teacher. Ako yun, pinagkakuha tayo. It is actually not good. The field trip is good as a modality or methodology of experiential learning. Pero hindi lang yung pagpunta ng museum, pwede mo silang pilipod sa loob ng campus mo. If you are teaching industry, so papunta mo, tingnan mo yung mga langgam, how industries na langgam are, di ba? So that's one way of showing to them. Hindi lang industry, kundi yung pagiging rural. We're saving money, we're saving foods for the rainy days. So that's one way of teaching them. Okay? Clear po ba yan? But can you do that to college? Tatawahan ka lang. Tawayan. And speaking of that, the grad school is actually planning, hindi na 4th year, to expose you to, like, nangyayari pala, walang 4th year, to expose you to different industries. Kung paano sa world. We are planning to allow you to go to the Senate for the educational policy here. Kung paano formulate and so on and so forth. Pero so far, sabi sa akin ni kasi si Pingoy kasi ang ng education policy. Isip pa sa budget ng sa pagkakas sa Relaga. I will not be charging you an amount ng sobra-sobra. Pamasahin nila sa pagkain niya. But of course, yung admin sa fee na. Okay? Yun lang yung first. Maliwanag po ba yun? Okay? Compulsory ba? Pag-usapan natin. Compulsory. Baka mamaya, pag di ko kayo ng compulsory, isa lang naman ang pupunta. Diba? Well, next, social reconstructionism. Any idea about social reconstructionism? Well, dapat ang focus ng ating study kasi ang to do with social needs. Yung nakapagbibigay ng pagbabago. Right? So, paano nga ba? Paano ba dapat natin dadalhin yung mga estudyante natin? Whatever learnings they have ay makapagbabago sa mundo. Ano nga ba? Paano nga ba? Okay? So, social reconstructionism. So, bibigyan tayo ng philosophy na has something to do with the discussion of the societal issues. And so on and so forth. Kagabi, my wife is actually bragging kung bakit lagi kong pinapakinggan, hindi dati naman naman nagkikaya. Pinapakinggan ko kasi yung budget hearing. Ganit na lagi mo naman pinapakinggan. Sabi ko sa kanya, these are social issues. Okay? And it's a matter of life and death para sa atin, lalo-lalo na yung vice presidente. Kasi siya lang naman yung gano'n eh. Sa tagal-tagal ko na tumayo sa mundo ito, sa tuwing budget hearing nakakarinig naman ang magiging pero ngayon nagkabaliktad yata. Nagkabaliktad yung budget hearing. Kaya natatawan tuloy ako. So social issues, be mindful. Lalo-lalo na ngayon, malapit na election. Be mindful kung sino talaga yung boto nyo. Pero, siyempre, ibigay yan ng pakuro, diba? Tama na. Tanggapin nyo lang, hindi naman nila alam kung sino yung boto nyo. Pagka-boto nyo, keep your mouth shut. Hindi yung nakaboto kayo, madaldal pa kayo. O bak naman, mapapapa kayo, diba? Tama ba? Yes, you practice your right, you vote. You get what they give. Dahil kung minsan, hindi galing sa kanila yun, galing din sa kaban ng bayan. Okay? So next, culturalism. You align the philosophy by considering the background of your students. Cultural. Kapag yung background ng students mo diverse, you have to analyze into it that no one shall be isolated, no one shall actually be at disadvantage in your lecture. Okay? Yung mga religious implication, di ba? Yung mga problematic area, you have to avoid that one. Try to avoid it as much as possible. So, kailangan yung konsepto natin. Culturalism. Okay? We have to consider lahat. So next, we have, pakibasa na, sir, yung conclusion natin.
Your philosophical heritage shapes not only your teaching methods but also your interactions with students, classroom management strategies, and the overall learning improvement of you create. It is essential to be aware of your philosophical underpinnings as a teacher, as they can influence the learning experience and outcomes of your students. Continuously reflecting on your beliefs and being open to innovative ideas and perspectives can help you refine and improve your teaching practice over time.
Okay. So moral lesson, a teacher must be open-minded. A teacher must be ready to adapt to changes. Must be ready to absorb whatever problem. And the teacher must be resilient. Okay? So kailangan mag-adjust yung teacher lang. Maliwanag po ba? It is not the student. You know, in the college of law, it is the student who will adjust to the teacher. Yes, this is the scenario. Sino na ba nag-college of law dito sa inyo? Wala. This is the scenario. Bibigay siya ng 100 cases. Recitation, next week. 100 cases yan, dami. Mabasa. Then comes now the recitation. Ang methods of teaching natin, yung strategies, sabihin mo muna yung tanong. Right? Bago mo tawagin yung estudyante. Tama na? You tell the question, then you ask the student. Sa college of law, it's different. You call the name of the student, then you give the question. So, mali. Tapos, nagbigay siya ng 100 items, 100 cases. Out of that 100 cases, wala siyang ibibigay doon. Are you complain? And who are you to complain if your teacher is the judge? Baka content ka pa, di ba? Indirect content. So, it's exactly the reverse. Kaya reverse pa magkabaliktad. So, kaya first time yung pupunta sa college na mas siya. Kaya marami kong nagka-drop on their first year. That's one thing. Pero, guys, sabi ko, as much as possible, we should avoid those things. Okay? We should avoid those. Next, we have formulation of personal foundation of education as a teacher. Ano nga ba yung personal foundation niyo as a teacher? Yeah, the formulation, pakibasa nga, alam?
Formulation, the personal foundation of education as a teacher, involves a reflective process of identifying and clarifying your formal values, and guiding principles in your education. These foundations serve as the bedrock for your teaching practice and informs your decisions, interactions with students, and overall learning environment you create. Here are the steps to formulate your personal foundation of education.
Okay, nandiyan na po. In short, summarize po natin yan, know yourself. Yan ang ibig sabihin ko. Know yourself. Know your asset, know your weaknesses, know your strength. How? Siyempre, self-reflection. Identify your core beliefs. Examine your philosophical perspective. What are your values and ethics? What are your teaching goals? If your teaching goals is to make learning fun, then with that is made. But there are teachers who make learning more difficult. Okay, that's actually problematic. Learning theories, what are your professional development? Are they actually aligned with school policy or school philosophy? Are they actually geared towards the adoption and the growth of the learners? So, kung isa-summarize natin, ang tawag natin doon, your foundation, you have to learn yourself. Know yourself. Maliwanag? It's about time to know yourself. At alamin mo kung ano yung weakness mo, alamin mo kung ano yung strength mo. Kung nalaman mo na yung strength mo, then you have to stay. Kung nalaman mo yung weakness mo, then you have to improve. Improve that one so that that weakness will no longer be weakness. It becomes now strength. Did you get my point? It is only by knowing yourself. That is your foundation. By formulating the personal foundation of education, you will have a clear sense of purpose and direction as a teacher. Bakit nga ba nandito ako sa iyo? Ano ginagawa ko dito? Isama ko nandito ako. What? Ano nga ba ang purpose ko? So by knowing that goal, that serves as your extrinsic motivation. Hindi nyo na pwedeng gamitin na pumapasok ako sa ibang dahil may araw-araw akong baon. No, hindi na. Hindi pwede yan. Applicable pa ba yan sa inyo? Hindi na. Dahil pagkalabas ko sa klase, meron akong stars. Meron ba yan? Hindi na. Okay? So, extrinsic motivation yan. Nandito kayo for personal growth. Okay? Anong growth yan? Whether financially or not? So, nandito kayo for personal growth. So, value formation as a teacher. Pakibasa na, madam. Yan.
Value formation as a teacher refers to the intentional and thoughtful process of instilling positive values, ethics, and moral principles in your students. As an educator, you play a crucial role in shaping the character and values of your students, not just through formal lessons, but also through your actions, behaviors, and interactions with them. Here are some central aspects of value.
Okay, so the main takeaway is that you have to walk the talk. Maliwanag po? You have to walk the talk. Be a role model. So ano yan? Hindi lang mo yan. So inuulit lang natin, diniscuss natin kanina. So role modeling, inclusive environment, reflection. Pero pinaka-importante yung pinakakalimutan natin, pinaka-ulit, encourage service, inclusive civic engagement. Yan. Yan po yung multi-function ninyo. Hindi ka lang panloob ng classroom. Palabas ka pa. Yan. Bakit? Pag kailangan ka, muling ka namin isinandos ka. Naalala ko, nung naging student leader ko pa si Wesley, pagkalamin is, sa pinumala ko Wesley. Yan. Nagpapangka pa yan. So, hindi lang sila pang student leader, pang civic engagement pa. So, dapat ganun din tayo. Okay? Kaya napakatindi ng role natin. No? So, yan po. In conclusion, teaching is not just an ordinary job. Tandaan niyo yan. Or a means to earn money. Hindi ko po yan kinuha kahit sa libro. Yan. It is a vocation that demands the profound sense of purpose, dedication to serve others, and fervent passion for education and student growth. And here are the essential components. Sense of purpose, devotion, It is a noble profession, remember? Dedication and sacrifice, nurturing and supporting. So, lagi po namin yan. O, doon sa aming tagline, students, our North Star. Okay? North Star po namin. Sila yung direction namin. Nurturing and supporting, lifelong learning. Kaya nandito po kayo. Lifelong learning. Impact and influence. I-impact po tayo sa mga bata. We develop learners. Okay? We are better than engineers because we develop learners. Empower them. Relationship building and we make difference. And most important, we have a sense of community. Naalala ko yung professor ko from PSU. Sabi nila, alam mo mga teachers, once they start talking, they cannot stop them to talk. They have sense of community. And what community is that? Rumor mongering community. Chismo sa tao. Ito ba tawag na niyo? Kailangan siguro yung Dr. Limpan ng PSU. Okay? Kasi ganun talaga, no? Pag na-observe sa kanya sa jeep, makikita mo yung mga teachers pag nagdandalan, mga teacher yun. Tumatawa kayo, but you're doing it. Yes or no?
Yes.
Oh, yun to, pwede na. Kaya yun to. Tandaan nyo, walk the talk. Okay? Tama na? Nung PBB nga, kita ko na mag-release ng PBB, nandun lahat eh. Nandun lang sa mall, may kanya-kanyang bitbit. Hindi ba nagluto kayo, ubus na yung PBB nila, di ba? Dapat nag-save home na. Kinabukasan, wala na naman, mamumulog na naman. Kawawa naman tayo. Dapat they should actually save. Okay? Clear? Is it clear? Hindi mo itatanggi ha, my wife is a public school teacher. Alam ko nang nangyayari. Na-observe ko sa kanya. Okay. Last. Pakibasa na lang. Iha. Ito na po, yung conclusion natin.
Choosing teaching as a vocation is fulfilling journey that extends beyond the boundaries of a typical job. It involves a continuous dedication to motivate, enable, and encourage students, cultivating a passion for education and equipping them to be accountable and valuable members of the community.
Okay. Malakpan nyo yung sarili nyo. I salute you, you are teachers. We are teachers. Sabi nga, and I would like to relate to you, right after the World War II, Emperor Hirohito Yamashita. Kinala niyo siya? Kinagalap na kayo, no? Sabi niya sa kanyang Commander, you count how many teachers are left? How many teachers survive? Hindi niya pinapibilang kung ilang sundalo ang buhay. Teachers ang pinapibilang niya. Why? Because teachers are nation builders. Okay? Tatay niyo po yan. Beyond the boundaries of a typical job. So that's actually from Emperor Hirohito Yamashita of the time. Okay? Clear po ba? Any question? I'll give you an individual work. Bago tayo umalis, it's actually a pen and paper activity. Kindly bring out one wood, yellow paper, kindly. That will be your passport before you can go out. Tayo agad na sa atin, nakita na. Please, hindi ho tayo whole day, happy lang ako nagkakanta. Alam niyo kung bakit? Sinabi ko na last meeting, di ba? Happy lang ako nagkaklase kasi yung remaining days, remaining time for the day, is for monitoring process. Okay? Nakikita niyo yung hindi niya. Ganda yung sugat niyo, ha? Pero sabi nila daw, yung mga pangit ng sugat, hindi yung mga matakal. O pag pangit naman, hindi mo lang kayo. Mamimili lang po kayo dito. Ay, hindi, isa na lang. Mahirap po mamimili kayo. Mamaya pare-parehas nila na nasagot. Nasasagot ka. Isa na lang. There are actually three. If you need all work, so bibigyan ko na lang kayo ng yan. Isa lang, para madali na tumagay. Malabo?
Yes, sir. Parang yan, sir.
Oo nga, sa talaga.
Zoom po, sir.
Alam mo, may problema tayo eh.
Isa pa, sir.
Dahil lalagyan na lang natin para magkakabigit. One lang ah, ayoko yung two. Eh kayo, kung gusto niyo pati number two,
Number 1 lang, sir.
Wala, sir.
baba na lang natin yan. Now let's go to cultural reflection. Kikita niyo pa ba? Di ba eh?
Masumbo din, sir.
Yan.
Yan, sir.
Okay. Cultural reflection. You can either use English or Filipino or Taglish, but not Pangasinan.
Ika tayo.
Yes, Ilocano better.
Okay.
Write a journal entry that reflects your own cultural background. You have to consider the factors such as tradition, values, language, and family influences on their education. And here are the questions to be answered. How does your background influence your learning style or approach to education? Are there any cultural traditions that impact your view in education? And how do you think your educational experience differs from someone of different cultural background? Napakadali lang, di ba? Okay, you may start. Not only test, only one page lang, ha? Only one page paper lang. Ayoko yung marami. Hindi ko lang ako, ha?
Sir, pause ko na, sir.
Yeah, sure.